Yeah, man. What's up, fight fans? What's going on out there, man? The homie main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Going down every Wednesday, every Saturday here on Main Man, Made Man's Boxing, man. So my man Gary Russell Jr. gets the victory, unanimous decision, and defends his WBC 126-pound title for the fifth time, ladies and gentlemen, defeating Tuscuti King Tud Nyambyar. You know what I'm saying? Good fight, man. Good fight. Gary Russell Jr. basically hand speed was the key for this particular fight. It was all about hand speed. Gary Russell Jr.'s hand speed for the first 6 to 7 rounds, man, was the answer to King Tug. King Tug coming forward for majority of this fight. Gary Russell Jr. playing the matador, and it was the hand speed. Gary Russell Jr. sometimes letting off 3 jabs at one time, throwing left hand straight down the pike 2-3 times at a time. Them first 6 rounds, man, Gary Russell Jr. was shining. What Gary Russell Jr. basically did was take all of the tools that King Tug likes to use into a fight. He took them all away in them first early rounds. Now, in the second half of the fight, with Gary Russell Jr. legs begin to slow down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Gary Russell Jr. started to tie down a little bit, and King Tug closed the gap a lot more. Let his hands go a lot more. And, you know, people was wondering early on in the fight, man, like, yo, man, why ain't King Tug letting his hands go? It's because Gary Russell Jr. was taking everything away from him, Joe. I mean, stand on the outside, throwing 3-4 piece combinations, countering with precision and speed the way that Gary Russell was doing, man. It was just taking so many tools away from King Tug. Now, King Tug did a valiant effort, I must say. He was coming forward in his fight. He was willing to engage a lot with Gary Russell Jr. The only problem is that he didn't start to let his hands go into the second half of the fight. And usually in Gary Russell Jr.'s fights, man, if y'all ever watch any of his fights, y'all know that in the second half, Gary Russell sometimes slows down. And this is where a lot of his opponents normally get back into the fight. But however, in this particular case, Gary Russell Jr. held on long enough. King Tug, I gave him like I'd say about the 11th and the 12th round. And that's because that Gary Russell, at that point, he stopped backtracking and he started coming forward. And I think what Gary Russell Jr. did in the 11th round was actually very smart. Gary Russell Jr., like I said, he was playing matador for most of the fight, but in the 11th round, he decided to stand his ground, came forward in the high guard. King Tug let off a lot of steam in that particular round, but I think that took down a lot of steam out of King Tug to come out in the 12th round. At first, I was sitting back wondering, like, what is Gary doing? All he has to do is keep on doing what he's doing, stand on the outside, boxing, using his speed. But Gary knew that he was slowing down, and Gary knew that he had to take some steam out of this kid for the 12th round. And so that's exactly what he did in the 11th. He pretty much made it a close quarters fight in the 11th round. High guard stood in there, tried to bang on the inside with King Tug. King Tug was landing some good leather in that 11th round, man, some real good leather. That right hand started to land a little more. You see a little swelling start building up under Gary Russell's eye, but Gary was able to withstand that storm, come out in the 12th round, pretty much try to engage with the kid for the first half of the round and stayed away from him for the second half. But he knew that kid pretty much blew a lot of his load in that 11th round, man. But Gary Russell Jr. being the more experienced fighter, 30+ fights in his column. King Tug, this is his 12th professional fight. He is going to learn from this particular experience. He pretty much got schooled for the most part tonight, but he's got to learn to cut the ring off much better. His ring cutting off ability sucked tonight. It's like he started to get sucked into in those early rounds. He was getting sucked into the following game. Instead of meeting Gary Russell Jr. at a point, he was following Gary Russell Jr. a lot in those earlier rounds. Now he started to wise up, or should I say, I ain't gonna say he started to wise up in the second half. It was more Gary Russell Jr. starting to slow down a little bit and tie up a little bit. Legs started to slow down a little bit, which allowed King Tug to close the gap a lot better, man. But he looked a lot unsure earlier on. He just couldn't keep up with Gary, man. Even when he was pinning Gary up in the corner, pinning Gary up against the ropes, Gary was just too fast, man. His upper body movement, head movement, just too damn fast, getting out of the way of punches. Too damn fast. Gary Russell Jr. to this day still has the fastest hands in boxing all day. You know what I'm saying? DMV riding strong with Gary Russell Jr., man. He went up there to Pennsylvania, man, and took the air out the building. The Mongolians tonight, man, they came and represented King Tug deep. They was out in that crowd heavy tonight, man. You know what I mean? Anything that King Tug threw, whether it landed on gloves, arms, whatever, man, the crowd was going bananas. So clearly, King Tug got a following, man. And I know this got to make the WBC just a little sick because, like I say, Gary Russell Jr., he ain't that active. You know what I mean? But a guy like King Tug with a following like he got, oh, they could have molded him into so many things. But Gary Russell Jr. shuts all that shit down. Now, check your mind, fight fans. King Tug is going to be all right, man. He's going to be okay. It's just like the JoJo Diaz fight. Just because JoJo Diaz lost to Gary Russell Jr. didn't make JoJo Diaz a bad fighter. There ain't many fighters, especially at 126, who possess the same tools that Gary Russell Jr. has to do what he did to King Tug tonight. I mean, he took a lot of the tools away from King Tug early on. His hand speed, his counterpunching ability, his experience. A lot of the fighters at 126 and even at 130 don't possess a lot of those tools that Gary Russell Jr. has. And King Tug is going to give hell to a lot of the fighters at 126. I would love to see King Tug up in that joint with a Shakur Stevenson or Josh Warrington or any of them dudes, man. Frampton, him and Leo Santa Cruz. Anybody willing to engage on a consistent basis with King Tug is going to have a problem with King Tug. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. Lawrence says, what's up with you, man? Dimitri Cohen in the building. Salute to you, man. Man, what you think about Gary saying he will go up 2 weight classes? Don't be surprised if PBC signs King Tug, but he isn't. If he isn't already signed. Yeah, man, if he isn't already signed, I'm like you, bro. Somebody gonna grab King Tug because clearly, like I said before, the Mongolians are following King Tug, man. They came all the way out to Pennsylvania and they represented heavy, man. Now, as for Gary Russell Jr., man, yeah, man, like my man just say, man, he going on up to 135 pounds. He says if he cannot get a big fight down at 130 pounds. Now, I don't know what else Gary Russell Jr. got to do to get a big fight down at 126. I don't know what he got to do. He's already put hands on Leo Santa Cruz's father. He's called out everybody. He even said that young Shakur Stevenson can get it, but clearly Andre Ward ain't going to let that happen. So if Gary Russell Jr., man, can't make nothing happen at 126, he said he head up to 35, man. Now, I never suggest, man, for a fighter to skip over a weight class. I don't care how good their skill set is, but in Gary Russell Jr.'s case, I believe time is of the essence. He's 32, 33 years old. He got his younger brothers coming up. He wants them to be stars, man. And so he wants to clear the way for them, man. So I don't think Gary Russell Jr. got forever in boxing. And maybe this is the reason for the weight jump so fast. But, man, I never suggest a fighter skipping over a weight class. But Gary went to big names, man. He been sitting down at 126 too long, fighting all of these mandatories. Nobody don't even know. Everybody putting this criticism on him. Oh, man, Gary fights once a year, and he keep chasing one fighter, blah, 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 blah. So Gary got to go after it, man. If time is of the essence, I don't suggest skipping over the weight class, but time is of the essence with Gary. He don't got much longer in the sport of boxing. He wants the big fights. My thing is, if Gary went to 130, what lies for him at 130? I mean, Gary Russell Jr. is the WBC champion, which means that if he was to go up to 130, of course, he'll be rated high in the WBC. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the WBC champion at 130 has this mandatory challenge coming up. So Gary will probably be waiting for damn near a year before he gets that opportunity for the WBC. Maybe that's what Gary is looking at. He said he was willing to stop at 130 for Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer took the L to JoJo Diaz. He got a rematch clause. Tevin Farmer tied up. Politically, I mean, other than Leo Santa Cruz, who sits at 130, he has the WBA Super. I mean, that's the only reason for Gary to really go to 130. I mean, he wants what he wants. He wants Leo Santa Cruz, you know. Him and Leo Santa Cruz got history from the amateurs on down. Gary Russell Jr. did everything that he can think of. I mean, talked to any camera that would listen, went to any rooftop that'll let him stand on it and yell from it. And Gary has been trying to get Leo Santa Cruz. He put hands on his father. I mean, what more can he do, Joe? What more can he do? You know what I mean? This dude is a certified champion, man. Now, 5 title defenses, and nobody wants that smoke. You don't hear nobody calling out Gary Russell Jr.'s name, fam. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't want Leo to get off the hook. They said I would rather have Gary fight Loma for the get back and then fight Leo. Before Gary gets out of boxing, man, of course, I want him to tie both of those loose ends up, man. I want him to go either get the Lomachenko fight out the way or go get Leo Santa Cruz, man. Because, bro, it's PBC gotta give a better answer than what they giving for this Gary Russell debacle. It's starting to get to a point where it's the fucking debacle, fight fans. It's no way that Gary should have been chasing Leo Santa Cruz for as long as he has been. and not got in that fight. The WBC used to kiss Leo Santa Cruz ass at 126. They wanted Leo Santa Cruz as their champion. I mean, I just don't understand what's going on. I mean, they on the same side of the street, same networks, fighting for the same group of people. No reason why the fight shouldn't happen. They have history from the amateurs. No reason why this fight shouldn't happen. I'm gonna keep it on 100 with y'all though. From what I seen tonight, the Gary Russell Jr. that I seen tonight, his talent, his skill set is still sharp, man. I got him getting in that ring and destroying Leo Santa Cruz. This man will be too fast. He'll put Leo Santa Cruz in the mixing bag. Leo Santa Cruz straight up and down, no special effects, ain't nothing to be bragging about, ain't nothing to be gawking over, does nothing spectacular, comes forward, takes punches, swings a lot of punches. Gary Russell Jr. will box circles around Leo Santa Cruz, and PBC know it. You know what I mean? Simple and Simon. And they do not want Leo Santa Cruz to lose his luster before Tank Davis gets a chance to take that luster off him first. And that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing go for Gervonta Tank Davis. Duck, duck, fucking goose. You know what I'm saying? Duck, duck, goose. Gary Russell Jr. been wanting smoke with Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta been playing stupid. You know what I'm saying? He'll go on Twitter and he'll call out everybody under the sun on Twitter except Mr. Gary Russell Jr. When it comes to Mr. Gary Russell Jr., this is Gervonta Tank Davis. Why he want to fight me? Why Gary want to fight me, though? Why he want to fight me, though? Man, shut your spoil ass up and get in the ring with Mr. Gary Russell Jr., man. Gary ain't ducking nothing, ain't ducking nobody out here. And don't let it be misunderstood, fight fans. A fight with Gervonta Tank Davis and Gary Russell Jr. will not only be big for the DMV, but it'll be big for the entire sport of boxing, man. None of them boys at 126 don't want no smoke. 130, I don't even know if that's worth Gary Russell Jr.'s time at this point. And at the present moment, everybody at 130. The funny thing is, Gary Russell Jr. saying, oh, I'm going up to 135. And there's already talk out there that Gervonta Davis is talking about going back down to 130. Don't y'all find that shit coincidental as hell? You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden now, Gervonta's like, oh, I'll go down to 130 and fight Leo Santa Cruz. Man, we don't want to hear that bullshit. You and Leo Santa Cruz are the biggest ducks in boxing. Y'all have been ducking Mr. Gary Russell Jr. You want no smoke. Tank Nation, Gervonta Davis Nation out there. Your boy has no excuses. Zero, zip, zada. You know what I'm saying? When he came to Gary Russell Jr. versus JoJo Diaz fight, because Tank was ringside, because I was ringside, and I saw Tank. Tank was right there. Tank looked around in the MGM, and he was like, this place too small. It's too, oh, you fake-ass diva. Oh, if this too small, we got about 4 or 5 more arenas all around the DMV that will host that damn fight. Stop ducking. You know what I'm saying? Floyd, stop holding your boy back. Al, make this shit happen. You've been owing Gary Russell Jr. for the fucking longest. Everybody wondering why Gary Russell Jr. ain't been fighting. Well, look at PBC. Look who they've been matching him up with. They can't match him up with the stars in Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta Tank Davis, but they can match him up with all. Man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here, bro. They all on the same side of the street. Stop ducking Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Period. You know what I'm saying? Simple and Simon. Y'all all know they out there ducking, man. Y'all, you know, and everybody keep putting this on Gary Russell Jr. Like, oh, he don't fight, man. He only fight once a year. Fuck, who he gonna fight? Give me a name. Give me a name. Can anybody put one name in the comment section other than Tevin Farmer that's calling out Gary Russell Jr.? Can anybody put one name? Give me a name. Nobody, fight fans. It don't exist. It don't exist. We're going to see. According to Gary, he was promised Leo. According to Gary Russell Jr., yes, he was promised Leo Santa Cruz, but we've heard that before, you know what I mean? And that's what scares me about that answer is that I remember prior to the last fight, Gary Russell Jr. was saying the same thing. They told him that he would get Leo Santa Cruz. Gary Russell Jr. at one point in time last year, towards the end of last year, he started letting out a lot of training clips and gym clips. And whenever Gary Russell Jr. is about to fight is when you see Gary Russell Jr. emerge on social media. And he started to emerge on social media towards the end of last year like he was ginning up for a fight. And it was supposed to be Leo Santa Cruz, but for whatever reason, it did not happen. We just tired of the bullshit. You know what I mean? We just tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the bullshit for Mr. Gary Russell Jr. The entire DMV is tired of the bullshit. We know what's going on. We know they ducking smoke. You know what I mean? The younger brothers coming up, they gonna duck them too. They gonna duck them too. And it's time to start giving the Gary Russell's father, Gary Russell Sr., more credit, man. He got 3 sons out here, bro. He fuck around is gonna have 3 world champion sons, man. And ain't nobody talking about that. Gary Russell Jr.'s father needs to get much more recognition for the work that he's put in with his sons. They're fine young men. You don't see them running around in the news, getting into trouble. They're respectful. They command respect when they walk in the ring. They're committed to their craft. The father, Gary Russell Jr.'s father, all of these training of the years and all of this shit that we talked about, y'all need to be including that man, for real, Joe. He being left off too many lists like he ain't doing a good job with his fucking sons, man. Real spill, man. But that's what it is, man. Gary Russell Jr. remaining the real champ at 126 pounds, the real champ at 126 pounds because everybody else ducking. Frampton and Warren, oh, they talking about each other. Galahad, look at Regan Diao tonight. Regan Diao, and I will talk about this when we talking boxing. Salute to my brother, Boxing Logics United in the building. Everybody that hear me, check out Boxing Logics United, man. Yo, man, Regan Diao tonight, man. Yo, what the hell was that, bro? Like, what the hell was that, bro? Regan Diao is losing a step. I don't know what he doing. We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but Regan Diao went down in weight. Regan Diao was at 122 pounds forever. And instead of coming up, he goes down in weight. All of these people are ducking Gary Russell Jr. It's insane. Gary is probably the most duck fighter in boxing. Think about that. Let that sit in. Hold on. Gary Russell Jr. is the most ducked fighter in boxing. Facts. I can't think of nobody more ducked. Can you? I can't think of not one person in boxing more ducked than Gary Russell Jr. Hey, Boxing Logics United. There's nobody else in boxing, bro, more ducked than Gary Russell, bro. Nobody. I can't think of not one. The only other fighter that maybe comes to mind is my man Dimitri Bivol. He is the only other fighter that's probably as ducked as Gary Russell Jr. Dimitri Bivol and Gary Russell Jr. probably are the 2 biggest, the 2 most ducked fighters in boxing, bro. Real shit, man. No one else compares, bro. No one else compares, man. In the words of Devin Haney, they say everything else expect. Let's fight 100. You know, and I seen Devin Haney, man. Now that's another one. That's another one. When Gary go up to 135, you're gonna be looking at that. As a matter of fact, if Gary goes up to 135. Devin might be right in the crosshairs of Gary Russell if you think about it. Devin is the WBC Diamond Champion or whatever the fuck that means up at 135 pounds, given that he got injured and so he vacated his title and he allowed Luke Campbell and, y'all know, Luke Campbell and what's the other guy to fight for? You know what I'm saying? And the winner of that fight, Devin Haney can come back and fight for that title at any time. Well, if Gary Russell Jr. goes to 135 and they place him very high in the WBC, well, he'll be right on that trajectory. Hey, he'll take that fight too. He'll school young Devin little ass too. You know what I'm saying? All day. Now, Eddie Hearn ain't gonna allow that to happen. Eddie ain't gonna, he'll go after the Adrian Browners of the world. He'll go after everybody. He ain't gonna allow that to happen. Y'all gotta understand, man, they protect their fighters from Gary. They protect them from Gary, fam. PBC protecting Tank and protecting Leo. Andre Ward, ESPN, protecting Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only thinking it's only natural since everybody else doing it. DAZN or Eddie Hearn is going to protect Devin. Who wants smoke with Gary Russell Jr.? Raise your hand. Crickets up in this motherfucker. It is what it is, man. DMV riding with Gary Russell Jr. He retains his WBC 126-pound championship tonight. The 5th title defense out here, man. Nobody wanting no smoke. Gary trying his best to make the moves. Before I go, let me give up one more big just blown away. Did y'all see when they ran down in the broadcast, when they ran down the day of Gary Russell Jr.? Like, Gary got to the arena like 3:30. You know what I'm saying? Bopping around, practice for his introduction, and that was a fire-ass introduction my man walked to the ring with tonight, man. Fire-ass. He did the Coming to America, walking on the rose petals. That shit was fire, fam. But he got there earlier in the day. He worked on that, right? Then he got his brother prepared. He coached one brother through his fight. Got this other brother prepared. Coached him through the fight. Then went back, played a game of chess. And then after all of that, then started to warm up and then went in there and fought King Tug. God damn. Do you know most fighters' ritual on fight day? They in their hotel room. They somewhere getting their head together. They getting their mind together, man. They may take a nap to get their body nice and rested. Man, Gary was active as fuck, bro. It was almost like he ain't even have a fight tonight, man. My man was moving around. He was the trainer in one brother's, man. He was the trainer in another brother. I was just like, damn. That takes discipline and focus to do all of that throughout the day and then turn around and beat King Tug ass tonight. That shit was like, damn. That showed you the mental toughness and fortitude of Gary Russell Jr. Also, if you look at the fight tonight, the mental toughness of Gary Russell Jr. Paulie Malignaggi said it best. King Tug was trying to stay in position for Gary Russell to put mental pressure on him, to let him know that no matter what you hit me with, no matter how fast you punch, I ain't going nowhere. And round by round by round, as you're tiring out mentally, that becomes a tough thing to deal with. It's like, damn, this guy ain't moving, and I'm hitting him with everything. But what did Gary Russell Jr. do in the second half of the fight? He put himself right in front of King Tug as to tell him, look good, bro. You ain't breaking my will. You ain't breaking my will. I'm standing right here. I'm not running. You know, this ain't Rican Diao. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't breaking my will. It shows you the mental toughness of a Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Bro, you got to have so much respect for this fighter. The DMV rides for Gary Russell Jr. 100. You know what I'm saying? 100. That's our champion right there. 5 title defenses all day. Salute to everybody that came on up in here. We'll talk more about Gary Russell Jr. and the Ducks, known as Leo Santa Cruz and Javonta Tank Davis tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody. Thumbs up on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. It's a late night tonight, man. I'm chilling out, man. Good night of boxing, man. But that Regan Diao fight, that joint almost took me out, bro. That joint almost took me out. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Much love to all of y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed night, man. Gary Russell Jr. retains his WBC title, dominating at 126, the real champ all day. To the next video, man. Peace out.